Hello, hello. So, I am on the home stretch when it comes to fencing. All I have left is, I don't know, maybe 100 feet? About 100 feet of fencing left. So, I'm taking a little bit of break inside our new shelters. All that's left to do in here is secure the doors on one and then to line the inside with some wire and stuff to make sure our big gaps are covered, and then chickens will be safe from most predators. I mean, really, if a bear wanted to get to them, they could easily just rip the shit apart. I mean, there's I don't think there's a way I could bear proof this stuff, but knock on wood, we have not had any bears on the property. So, but I wanted to talk about what I am doing to try and still create a business out of the work we do here on the farm when it comes to the food side, especially the protein, the meats. Our state is pretty good about direct sales for vegetables and fruit and things like that. Our cottage food laws are pretty good when it comes to canned goods. Low acid foods we're allowed to sell, even if we process them in our home kitchens. If you've watched my previous videos before, my frustration has really blown up since they added regulations to the sale of rabbit meat. Just as a refresher, we've been doing this for a few years, and also selling some meat on the side during that time. And then there was no limits, restrictions, or requirements on the sale of rabbit meat if you were selling direct to consumer. If you wanted to sell to a grocery store or stuff like that, there were. So as of last year, something went into effect, and now I need a license to sell this meat. And as I've said before, the license is free, but to get that license, you need a pre-license inspection of the facility you would be using to butcher your meat. And even though they have no written, defined rules on what standards you need to meet, it's completely subjective based on who's doing the inspection. So one inspector could say, hey, this is appropriate and good enough. And the next one could say, no, it's not. But the one I spoke to said, definitely you need a floor, a ceiling, 4 walls, and hot and cold running water. So us building this from the ground up, that means I have to pay for a building permit to build this facility. I don't have anything already existing that I could refurbish or remodel into a butcher station. So after a lot of research, I have come across our answer, and that is to build a private members association. So what is that? Basically, it is a private club. Your best examples would be private golf clubs. And there's a bunch of examples, working examples in Texas when it comes to alcohol sales. Even though Prohibition ended almost 100 years ago, Texas still has dry counties. I think there's like 5 of them in the state still. But within those counties, there are still sports bars, pubs that are there and do business, and it's because they are private members associations. They are private clubs. You also see this in the medical and legal fields. Creating these private clubs allows people to provide a service that keeps them outside of, oh my gosh, there's this fly that's buzzing my head, outside of state and federal requirements and licensing. And a lot of people might see this as a loophole, but it's not. It's a legal exemption. Because what is a private club? A private club is exactly that. It's private. It's when you're offering goods and services to the public that you need to be licensed and follow all these rules and regulations. Now, according to all the research I've done, now do your own research, find out your own information for it. But, oh my gosh, this fly's gonna drive me crazy. Private members associations are simply that, a group of people coming together, practicing their right to associate under whatever idea or concept it is that you're providing the service for. And according to quite a few Supreme Court cases, that right to associate has been, it's ensured by the Constitution, but it's, I guess, backed up and codified by these Supreme Court rulings. So the one that comes to mind was, I believe it was 1967. There was a Supreme Court case that was heard between a bunch of union workers and the Illinois Bar Association. And the frustration was that the general outline of the case was that they said that the union members weren't allowed to come together and pool their resources to hire an attorney. And the court ruled obviously in favor of the workers for that. But in the opinion statement given, I believe it was Justice Black. You'd have to double check that. But he made the statements that the right to associate is inseparable from the right to free speech. They are one and the same. People's ability to associate is an expression of their free speech. He also said that the right to association is not limited to any one or to any human idea whatsoever. It's not strictly spiritual. It's not strictly political. People can associate under any human idea. And that's where this private members association really has its teeth. So not only that, because association is inseparable from free speech, they are one and the same. A private members association is a group of citizens coming together to practice their constitutional and naturally God-given rights. And because of that, the private members associations are also offered the same prosecutorial protections under the Constitution. Having a certain level of right to privacy when it comes to their goings on. So the state can't come in and just say, hey, we got to shut you down. Now, there are caveats to say if there's a, innate and inherent danger being presented to the community, then yes. But because of those prosecutorial protections, they still need a warrant. They can't just come in and seize your shit and shut you down. The warrant has to be extremely specific on where they can search, what they're looking for. So that's exactly what we're doing, is we're building this private members club. The only public view is for recruiting members or offering memberships. So we are building this private members association. I think this first year I'll be able to offer 2 or 3 memberships. Remember, we're still expanding. I want to be able to keep it to where we can provide food for ourselves and also provide food for other people and make a bit of an income and hopefully be able to expand upon those as the years go by. So, and maybe even be able to network with other producers. And, we only have 2 acres, right? So I cannot raise a bunch of pigs, goats, and chickens. My focus, as much as I would love to have pigs, my focus is going to be rabbits, goats, and chickens. That's going to be our big focus. So maybe I can network with some friends of mine who have the acreage and work with them on managing their property and getting something established. And they could be our private club partner in offering the pork, or and then everything that goes with that, whether it's the lard, um, all of it, organs, everything. So doing this opens up the opportunity for us to offer so many more products as well. We can make our own bacon. We could make our own smoked meats. We could do our own jerky and sell that as a service. I mean, all of those options open up for you when you create a private members association. Obviously, you kind of have to put together some articles of association, lay out your ground rules, kind of reinstate all of those reminders that this is a private club. The person joining is doing so and, pulling themselves out of the public sector and joining the private sector when they do this. Also, throw in there the reinforcement of the constitutional protections, all of it. So go look into it. Tell me what you guys think. I personally think, especially, my dream is that every state would pass a food law like Maine did, and allow the access to food as, a constitutional right, without the state coming in and saying, no, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. Because, really, all of this is simply a way for these bureaucrats to keep their jobs. Most of these rules and regulations are utterly subjective, not necessary, and have nothing to do with actual safety. I could go on for hours about that, especially when it comes to labeling laws. It's ridiculous. With that being said, I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially here in my state. We don't have the ability to petition our state legislature. So this is the next step. If everyone is in this small community and communities all over do this, we could drastically reduce our need on this commercial industrial food system and get back to local wholesome food. So look into it. Tell me what you think. I hope it sparks an interest for you if you're already producing food. Otherwise, let me know your initial thoughts, and until next time, we'll see you later.